William Henry Harrison McCumber was born on October 19, 1819, in Gallia County, Ohio. He was the first of 4 children and the only son born to William and Barbara Farr McCumber. When William was born, his father was 26 and his mother was 22. On December 10, 1843, when William was 24, he married 23-year-old Mary Ann Ewing. William and Mary would have 7 children together, 4 girls and 3 boys. Jonathan Reed, Antoinette Virginia, Alice Lavina, Mary Florence, George Edgar, Margaret Barbara, and William Archer. Mary would have her children from the age of 24 up until the age of 43. All 7 of their children would live well into adulthood. On March 25, 1862, at the age of 42, William mustered out to serve in the Civil War. He was a corporal in the 17th Iowa Infantry, Company C, for the Union. His wife, Mary, was left waiting for him with at least 4 of their children. Their son, Jonathan, would have been old enough to also serve in the Civil War, but I couldn't find any records that I knew without a doubt were a match to him. William served in the war for 3 years, and he was mustered out in July of 1865. In the 1870 census, 50-year-old William and Mary were living in Hancock County, Illinois, and farming for a living. 4 years later, William lost his wife. Mary passed away in January of 1874 at the age of 54. Mary was buried in Webster Cemetery in Hancock County, Illinois. After Mary passed away, William continued to live in Illinois, and 7 months later, he remarried. On August 3, 1874, 54-year-old William married 41-year-old Sarah or Angeline Backus Ewing. Angeline was also a widower. She had lost her husband, Charles Ewing, 4 years earlier. Like William, she had 7 children from her first marriage. William and Angeline's first spouses, Charles and Mary, were both Ewings. I found out that their fathers were brothers, making Charles and Mary first cousins. To reiterate, Angeline and William were not related. Their spouses were. I had several people comment on Angeline's video, thinking that was what I said. 2 years after their marriage in 1876, William and Angeline would welcome their only child together, a daughter named Verdi May McCumber. William was 56 when Verdi was born. Much later, when Verdi started her own family, she would name her children after her parents. She named her first son William Harrison and her first daughter Sarah Angeline. In May of 1894, when William was 74, he submitted a homestead application for Ozark County, Missouri, and the couple moved and settled there. A homestead application meant the government was giving land away for free to be farmed and lived on. Shortly after this, I found a newspaper article from July 1894 in the Ozark County News that stated, 4 Black Republicans drove in sight Friday evening from the neighborhood of Dora. They were W.M. William McCumber, Ren Coombs, Ira Coombs, and Mr. Dowdy. McCumber made final proof on his homestead Saturday. My search on what Black Republicans meant found it was a pejorative name used for abolitionist members of the Republican Party before the Civil War. Abraham Lincoln was often called this during his presidential campaign. Apparently, this term was still being used in Ozark County, Missouri, 30 years after the Civil War had ended. 2 years later, in 1896, William and Angeline deeded 3 acres of their land to the County Line Baptist Church for a church house and cemetery. The church house, built over 100 years ago, is still standing today. In 1905, the Howell County News wrote the McCumbers had a birthday celebration for William turning 86, and over 100 friends and neighbors attended his party. 2 years later, William passed away on August 8, 1907, at the age of 87. He was buried in the County Line Cemetery in Ozark County, Missouri, on the land he deeded to them. William and Angeline had just celebrated their 33rd wedding anniversary 6 days before he passed away. After William passed away, Angeline moved in with their daughter, Verdi May, who also lived in Ozark County. Angeline stayed with Verdi for her remaining years, and 4 years later she followed William. Angeline passed away on January 19th, 1912, at the age of 79. Her cause of death was spinal paralysis with influenza contributing. Angeline was buried next to William. In the row next to them are their grandkids, Mary, Lydia, infant twin babies, and their son-in-law, Phineas Matthews. I also cleaned all of their graves, and all of their videos have already been posted, if you're interested in more information about this family. William Stone has a flower carved at the top, but it is hard to see in the photos. His epitaph simply says, "Sleeping."